Hey guys, here bringing you back another YouTube video. Wow, actually I've had just mad deja vu just starting this video, I don't know why. But basically, just to get into this, I'm very mixed today. As I spoke about yesterday and I've spoken about a few times over here on Twitter, I do think we head higher. How deep that pullback comes, I'm not exactly sure. Normally, like you will tap some of these lows potentially in this. And in XRP, I talked about it, we'll probably want to chop around in this area and accumulate some supply before we do head higher. So that's my first talk before we get into anything. Looking at Solana, for example, we're nearly overbought on the hourly RSI. We haven't tested any of these lows. We've just been in quite a nice V-shaped recovery. Maybe it continues, but structurally we do normally come back and have a test. Maybe it's a lower low for Bitcoin. ETH's been under some pressure, something I've talked about over there on X. I'm going to talk about XRP in a minute and the longer term. It's just short term trading that I'm talking about. And we've got some negative news coming out for ETH. Jump trading unstaked about $20,000. And then we've seen this from Look On Chain wallets that have been dormant for 3.3 years and moving large amounts of ETH. 789,000 ETH, apparently 2 billion. We have inflows for the Ethereum ETF as reported by Farside UK, which has been about $150 million worth, 145 days. So it's positives and negatives is what I'm saying. Structurally, we do normally have that pullback before we continue. This is the jump trading. You can see it over here on Arkham. It's quite a good platform. You can just search for people you want to look at. And like if you just look over here in the bottom right, all the inflows basically for Arkham have been, so that these are inflows of ETH, but then outflows of staked ETH as well. Let me just find this. The major inflows for Arkham have been US dollars. And they've just been getting USD in because they've been selling down on ETH, and I presume they're about to do that again. So let me just take you to, oh, that's just on the third page, that's why. So look, if you look, they've just been selling, and then you have to go back here to see that like the staked ETH's been coming in, and they've sent it out wherever they've sent it to, over to like Binance, etc. Look. So they're taking it out of Lido staking. So let's see. Like, I'm not saying we're definitely gonna have a dump on ETH. I'm not saying anything. In fact, often when you get really bad press like this for any asset, it does mark a bottom if we can hold a higher low. But the RSI and price action is telling me, not just on ETH but on everything really, that it does look like we're gonna have a pullback. Like we come into this range, what I talked about, previous support that we held, probably acts as resistance. Wouldn't be unhealthy if it does act as resistance. We just touch it, we come back and test, either sweep the lows. Let's have a look on trading different. There is liquidity there. Oh, it's just open trading view again, nice. There is liquidity there, so there is liquidity to be swept below. It's not the end of the world if we do get a pullback into this area. Just flush out this extra liquidity here. As you guys know, there's still quite a bit of open interest on Bitcoin. It has started to build back up again, look, during this little pushback up. Let's get down there, flush all that open interest out, and then hopefully continue to the upside. What narrative we might need to see something like that? If I'll be right, I don't know. I think there'll be a TradFi narrative. I really do. I think that with the unraveling of the JPY USD trade, the USD carry trade, I think someone's probably going to be bankrupt in the wider markets. Either that, or, and I hate to say it, maybe we get a war scare. Like, I've not heard anything from the Middle East for a few days. It's kind of gone quiet. I'm not saying that, I'm not advocating for anything like this. I'm just saying these are the potential narratives that we need to be looking for to get this one last flush out. And do we get down to these levels and flush this out? I don't know. Or do we create a higher low? And I do think this area here will be back tested. And the sooner that happens, probably the sooner we can head up out of this zone. Personally, there is another narrative where we could just absolutely full send it. This happens at these stages of the bull run. You have a quick V-shaped recovery and absolutely send it. But often, and I'm going to stick with my guns, that we have the pullback into this area, maybe set a lower low. For XRP, I would hope that we can hold like above the 44 cent range, 44.5. That'd be nice if we can hold above there. We're just accumulating supply or distributing supply here. It's accumulation really. The long-term holders are buying off the weak hands, flushing out people who are late into the market. And again, what we want to see is bullish divergences. I've talked about this. So higher low potentially, or lower low in price with a higher low on the RSI. So maybe we just come down and literally touch this 42 cent support, which would be great. Just literally wick out those lows, flush out any open interest there, get a higher low on the RSI, and then send from there. For Bitcoin, again, it could look like the 45k region would be great. Obviously, it's still a big drop from here. It's a really huge drop, actually. It will be a drop of like 20%. Higher low on the 4-hour RSI, or the daily RSI would be perfect, but I don't think we actually came down that low. Yeah, we could get a high low on the daily RSI, like maybe down to like the 31. Forming a lower low on price and then sending out of there, but maybe we chop around for a little bit for like before. It's this week is the week that I've just got my eyes on everything. So that's the major talking point of this video. Look, XRP is clearly banging its head on previous resistance. We've got a lot of untapped liquidity below us that we've just formed. If we start to lose this, like you can see, you should be able to see what I'm seeing here. It's no guarantee, but let's see what plays out. And finally, just want to talk about XRP against Bitcoin on like the large time frame, the larger scale. Against ETH, look, we're doing pretty well. XRP is breaking out even today, right now, against ETH. ETH's got all that FUD happening to it, so I'm just not going to spend too long. I don't want to crap on ETH because I know a lot of people don't like ETH because of ETHgate, but I've got nothing against ETH really. If there's ETH problems, maybe the liquidity rotates. I wouldn't really like to see any particularly big ETH problems because I think it could spell wider problems for the markets if we do get that. But let's just have a look at XRP against Bitcoin on the large time frame just to show you like what we are doing here. This is the first big spike up we've seen for XRP against Bitcoin for quite a while, especially from these lows. And the last times we got spikes up and breaking of these key levels for XRP against Bitcoin, every single time, all right, apart from this one, I mean, even on this one, we still had probably like from the bottom, before we rejected, we still had 132% outperformance. In fact, realistically, we had a 233% outperformance before back testing again. But every single time, we've seen XRP explode against Bitcoin from these levels when we started to break resistance, and we've started to break that resistance now. Clearly, we've had the monthly close above the resistance level I was talking about. So that's what you can expect in the coming months for XRP. Doesn't matter what people say online. This is my opinion. We're in these low areas. This is when we've seen XRP outperform Bitcoin massively. It can be anywhere from, as I said, 233%, and then the lowest after that outperformance was 500%, and then the second lowest after that was we'll go from breaking the line just to make it fair, an 800%, and then we also had we'll go from breaking the line here, a 1,800% and a 2,000%. So realistically, the least we should be outperforming Bitcoin in the next few months is 200%, and the most is 2,000%. So that's either a 2x or a 20x against Bitcoin. That's where we are for XRP. That's where I think we are for XRP. Don't be too bearish. Like, everything I'm talking about is short-term stuff. Let's see what happens. And I also can be wrong. Like, these are just what I'm seeing from the charts. Hope you can see what I'm seeing as well. Just try and literally communicate with you guys what I see. If you enjoyed the video, please share it with a friend and subscribe if you don't already. Helps me out a lot, and it means you can see my future videos if you enjoy my content. Peace up, A-Town Downs, Crypto Insight UK would say.